Terence Crawford is still open to fighting Canelo Alvarez, and now Terence has issued Canelo a warning. After beating Errol Spence, fans were calling for Terence to move up in weight and try to get yet another belt by facing Canelo Alvarez. At first, Terence didn't seem too interested in that possibility. Terence stated, "Canelo is 2, 3, even 4 weight classes above me, depending on which fight you're talking about. So to be honest, Canelo doesn't really interest me because of the size factor. Canelo fighting at his weight doesn't present the right kind of challenge I'm seeking. I've been asked this question many times before, and I've always had the same answer. I'm firm on my stance." It looked as though Terence was simply focused on trying to get a fight with Jermell Charlo instead. Terence also stated, "I'm looking for bigger and better opportunities like Jermell Charlo. I just thought to let him know that I'm coming for him too. I don't care for the dude. I wouldn't say that I don't like him because I don't have any reason to not like him personally. I just don't care for him." After that interview, Terence went into more detail as to why there's such bad blood between himself and Jermell Charlo. Terence stated, "I was cool with Jermell and Jermall and their older brother prior to moving up in weight. I got messages with Jermell hitting me up saying he's going to pull up in Omaha. We're talking about cars, we're talking about all different types of stuff. Once I moved up in the division, and I understand that they're stablemates and he trains with Errol's coach and they've been knowing each other for a long time, but for him to start bashing me and talking bad about me and saying I'm going to get knocked out, just going out of his way to say little slick shit about me, I was like, man, that's some hoe. We don't do like that." Jermell Charlo is definitely ready to take on Terence Crawford, and he plans to add him to the schedule after handling Canelo Alvarez. Jermell stated, "I'm the king, nothing will stop me. Mega fights here on out. After my boys rematch, we can give the people what they want and make the Terence Crawford fight happen." While Jermell is all for a fight after taking on Canelo, Canelo didn't seem too interested in coming down in weight to face Terence. Canelo stated, like Crawford said when they asked him about the Gervonta Davis fight, that he won't get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everyone's gonna say Crawford is too small. He needs to enjoy his fight. He deserves it. I like Spence and all the respect to him, but I think that the type of fighter that Terence Crawford is, he's different. A lot of people are calling for Terence to fight the winner of Canelo versus Jermell, and Terence already put his prediction in for that fight. Terence stated, "I've got Canelo winning the fight, but I think it's going to be a good fight. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Charlo, but he's skillful, he's big. He's bigger than Canelo, even though Canelo, at the higher weight, I think Canelo's going to be stronger than Charlo. I think Canelo's going to be more powerful than him, but at the same time, I think Charlo's got the boxing skills to make it a competitive fight." Quite a few people believe that Canelo versus Crawford would be a fantastic fight, and Andre Berto thinks that Terence should definitely go for another belt. Berto stated, "So who does Crawford fight next? I say Jermell Charlo for the 154 pounds undisputed titles. After that, Canelo. Then goodbye to boxing. That's a $100 million play. People saying that Crawford is way too small for Canelo don't know about boxing. They said the same about Floyd versus Canelo. You have to understand that Canelo isn't a huge guy. He's small for 168. Crawford is taller, has a longer reach, and has room to fill out. Skills pay the bills though. And now everyone's wondering if Terence could actually pull it off."
Be great. That'll be 3 times. If you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Then I said, chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo. 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights where he still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness. But I mean, he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that.
Shakur Stevenson definitely thinks that Terence would be able to beat Canelo. Shakur stated, "I don't think size wins fights, I think skills do. Being a southpaw with good movement, sharp boxing, it'd be hard for Canelo to walk him down and load up on big hooks. I think Bud would beat Canelo." As for the fans, a lot of them think that Canelo would come out on top. One fan stated, "I think Canelo wins, but you can't knock Bud for daring to be great. A win against Canelo puts him up there with TBE. Another fan stated, I think Canelo's too strong for Crawford. Canelo is also very experienced, has good speed, one of the best chins, and has power. Crawford is special, but Canelo might be asking too much. It would be a fight that Canelo would have to lose in order for Crawford to win, if you get me. Another fan thought that the weight jump would be too much for Terence. They stated Canelo would be too big, huge jump for Crawford. The only way he can win is by a points decision, as Canelo has never been knocked out. Triple G couldn't do it, so I doubt Bud would. Feel the weight would be too much. Canelo either late stoppage or a decision. After a fan saw potential in Terence, but he still thought that Canelo would end up knocking him out, they stated, it would be a very interesting fight. I have Canelo by late KO, but I'd give Bud all the respect in the world for chasing greatness. Even with a loss, if he put up a decent fight, his name would be cemented even further than it already is. Another fan thought that the fight would actually be pretty close, but they still didn't think that Terence would be able to handle Canelo's power. They stated, Canelo by UD. Think Bud power will travel okay, but Canelo's power would be a problem for him, and Bud loses a little bit of quickness, 116 to 113, something like that. Shane Mosley thinks that Canelo is a little too big and powerful for Terence to handle at any weight class. Shane stated, I think Canelo would be a little too big for Bud. If Canelo and Bud were the same size, Bud would have the advantage, but I think Canelo has the advantage because he's really a lot bigger than Bud. He's too powerful and fast for Bud with Canelo. I would have to say Canelo in that situation, but I wouldn't say he's a better fighter than Bud. I just think he's bigger. While Terence has had his eyes on Canelo for years now, his mindset is definitely different from where it was in 2021. Terence had stated, he's definitely doing things differently to me because he's able and capable of doing those things. He's fought 4 times in the past year. He's become undisputed. He's getting all of the fights that he wants right now. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to. When Terence went on Joe Rogan's podcast, he talked about what he wants to be remembered for, and he thinks a win against Canelo would solidify that.
So your goal was to go up and become undisputed in 3 different weight classes.
There you go.
Wow.
Something that never been done before.
Right.
And, it's greatness. Like I said, this is my era, and I'm taking it. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. So now I didn't shift gears because I know I wanted to fight Jermell, but if he lose to Canelo, I always said, man, that's a big step. That's a big step. But for a person to go up 3 weight classes from 147 to 168 and to win, and become undisputed, wow. What can they say? They can't say nothing right now, but what can they say?
But well, then you're in like the greatest of all time discussion.
I'm already in them discussions.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but what would they say though? 3-time undisputed.
It's clear that Terence is changing his sights to focus on Canelo, but it'll all come down to whoever wins in the Canelo versus Jermell Charlo fight. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.